But if we are, we have some really exciting news this week.
I think we are live, Joe. We are episode 21. Welcome back to the podcast, guys. We have special great news, right, Joe?
Yeah, we have a lot of AMD, Intel, Nvidia, a lot of CPU and GPU. Really important week this time.
Yes, definitely. So let's go ahead and get started on our topic today. We have an Nvidia admits defeat. Don't be misleading by the title. Where are they getting defeated on, Joe?
They have their Founders Edition, and they on their website they're not really selling. They don't have them there as much. They're selling out too quickly, and their website's not like cooperating. So they're having maybe some technical problems and also some definitely supply issues. So they've passed it so where their partner Best Buy is going to handle the RTX 3080 for the US.
Really?
And yeah, and for Europe, it's a little bit of a question mark as to where you could get a Founders Edition.
Wow. So Founders Edition are pretty much what are they? Like, explain to
Founders Editions are the ones that Nvidia creates itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one where it has on this picture here, it's got one fan in the front and one fan in the back. And typically they're the cheapest. But not always. It wasn't always the case. Sometimes they had like a premium on them. But it's just that because these Founders ones are like, they're the ones that are out there the quickest from launch date. So these are the ones people go after if they want the card now instead of waiting for AIB partners that have like better cooling and a little bit of faster temps, like faster performance because they can cool the temperatures.
Interesting. So do they, every time they release a product, do they do a Founders Edition?
They started this back with the GTX 1080 lineup. Before then, they didn't have it. And so some people thought it was kind of gimmicky of Nvidia to do it. And others saw basically it was cutting into their partners' profits some, because instead of just having their partners sell these graphics cards with their custom coolers and different things like that, right? They're selling it themselves and they're competing. And I think they also sold it before, but like basically this one had like a premium on it. It was like $50 to $100 more, and they call it the Founders Edition.
Oh, really?
It was the same thing, but they just called it they gave a name to it and then charged more, and said the MSRP for their non-founders was like $50 to $100 less, which are the ones that the starting baseline for their partners to sell at. So they just made like an arbitrary price point that they made for the ones that they sold, and they kept it on for the RTX 20 series line and the 37 and the 3090s line. But for the 3090s, I can't even remember if the 20 series, if they got rid of the price hike, but they definitely got rid of it with this last one. So the Founders Editions are no longer more expensive, but they still have that name of the Founders of whatever Nvidia sells to you directly on their website.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So if you wanted them quickly, it was the best way to get it right on launch day is to get it either from Nvidia's website or to like stand in line at Micro Center.
Yeah, that's gonna take forever. And also too with this whole when is the expected release date, Joe?
Well, these ones have actually been out for I think it was like maybe 2 weeks, I believe. 2 or 3 weeks they've been out. But with the supply being so low, for a lot of people, it's like they haven't launched in a way. And if you had, the 3090 was $1,500, and the RX 3080 I think was $700. So that's still, out of most gamers' price range.
Yeah.
So people are looking for like the 3070, 3060, if they have a 3050 or their GTX lineup. So we're not sure when the next ones are coming out. I think they said that actually they said it was coming out like in like 2 or 3 weeks, kind of like coinciding with like AMD's launch. And they said that because they didn't want like supply to be like a problem. We covered that last week. Like they had too little, so they don't want that problem again. But we're still waiting for the lower end SKUs, which are the ones that I'm always interested in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very, very, very interesting, Joe. Um,
Well, yeah. So, you know, basically, we're looking at limited supply. Nvidia said until 2021, and
mhm.
that's partly due to um, Nvidia switching their partners. I believe they went. I can't remember at the moment. I think they used to go with TSMC, but I think they switched to Samsung this time for their processing
Yeah.
and their node, and so their supply is less. So that's like what is it with let's see um it's with that lower they wanted that because they could have like a lower like a SKU that's actually no sorry what they wanted is actually that was like an older node, the 12 nanometer, and so because it's like a older node it's actually cheaper, and so they can pass on more savings to the consumer. But AMD was going with like a 7 nanometer process, and
Mhm.
so with that they um had to pay a premium for that. And so that's why Nvidia this time is working around with like a lower supply of uh their GPU, like their chiplets,
Yeah.
or not the chiplet, like the yeah. So that's why there's such a shortage. And so we're going to see if AMD can compete with how much supply but also performance. You have to have both to really be to really to beat your competitors. And so we're going to see whether AMD can compete.
Wow. That's so much information, Joe.
Sorry, just go
um,
on. But yeah, so do you want to go we want to go into like AMD news?
yeah, just go ahead and go on to the next topic. This previous one was a very, very interesting. So if you like that stuff, that's your calling. Well, next one we're actually going to is the AMD's benchmarks for Radeon RX 6000 GPU shows close performance with the Nvidia RTX 3080. Sounds like AMD is doing a comeback, guys. What do you think about
Yeah.
that, Joe?
Yeah, it looks like when these actually launch, it looks like AMD will have the performance crown finally for gaming, which that's why people and like myself, like why we didn't jump on like the Ryzen, was it yeah, the 3000 series?
Has AMD ever held the crown in the past?
For CPUs, you have to go back to like 2006, I believe. So it's been a long time.
What about for the graphics cards?
Um Around the same time too. Like Nvidia and Intel have been the king for a long time.
So
Yeah.
when Nvidia stepped in through it, it launched, it pushed out Intel and Nvidia out of the market.
Oh, you mean now?
Yeah, as time progressed, Nvidia took over the crown.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I wasn't really into like the competition back then. I guess I think Nvidia just has like name recognition,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the color green really brings people to them. You
Interesting.
know, green means like like just you have. I think red is like kind of like bullish, and
Mm-hmm.
green is kind of like calming. So I think like I kind of like gravitated towards that. Plus, at the time, Nvidia had like I got like the 9600 GT, which was the first graphics card I ever bought, and I guess it's really weird because like that was like when you're not paying attention to the news, and so the name that you name your GPU and the colors and everything do matter to the consumer who's not paying attention.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the different marketing levels do impact you.
Wow.
In hindsight, thinking about like buying my first graphics card, it's like it wasn't until years later that you're actually like paying attention to who the competitors actually are.
Wow.
So
That's shocking.
yeah, yeah. So it's pretty cool that AMD's this article is talking about how like AMD's they teased a GPU of their RX 6000 series, but we don't know which one it is, and we don't know what its price is. But it was showing that it's comparative to the RTX 3080,
Uh-huh.
with like the RTX 6000 getting 61 frames in Borderlands 3 and the RTX 3080 getting 59. So it beat it in Borderlands 3, but in the other two games they showed for Gears 5 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the RTX 3080 did beat the Radeon RX 6000.
Wow.
And it beat it 101 frames to 88 in Call of Duty, and it beat it 81 frames to 73. So at the moment, it looks like the RTX 3080 is still king, but we don't know if this is the low end for the Radeon graphics this time around, or if this is like their high end.
I'm wondering that too. I was about to ask that question. Was this the lowest or was this the highest? But you beat me to the punch, Joe, this time around.
I think it's like the middle. I think they haven't like shown their all their cards yet. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping they have something bigger than this.
I hope so
That's
too.
gonna compete, be somewhere above the 3080, but maybe not quite the 3090. We'll see.
That is very interesting. Very
But
interesting.
it's pretty cool because all the stuff's happening all at once. They're talking about their CPUs, their GPUs. Um, and if we go on and we talk about how um having this performance increase, like beating Intel with their CPUs, now means that AMD can charge a little bit more than their competitor.
Yeah, definitely, man. It definitely. And a lot of these topics, guys, that are coming up, they are kind of almost like all almost into kind of some kind of related with AMD and Nvidia and Intel. So it's kind of like everything's always all these changes are happening like pretty fast, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, and so it's good for us because it's showing that there's a lot of progress going on. So we're just gonna I mean this new graphics, I mean the new the new CPU, the Ryzen 5000, AMD showing that they're still giving you the best bang for your buck by like I think it was like kind of like 2 to 3%. So you're still paying less performance per dollar than you would if you were going with Intel for the 10 900K. But you're still like you're paying a little bit. Like you're not like AMD is not giving you the super discounts anymore.
Interesting.
Like they're basically like neck and neck with their competitors. And so AMD forced Intel to lower their prices, but now AMD's raising their prices up to Intel because they can beat Intel's performance. So now it's up to Intel to revolutionize the CPU market so that AMD can't charge as much.
Interesting.
But at the same time, though, yeah.
What's the price What's the pricing that's available right now for these guys, or it has not been released out yet?
So they've talked about pricing, and it shows that the 5000 series is about $50 more than the previous generation. So not a huge increase, but at the same time, like a noticeable jump up. So before the 3600 GT, 3600 XT was $249, and now the 5600X, this is the 6 core 12 threads, is going to be 300. And so all of them are $50 more. $450 for the 5800X, $550 for the 5900X, the Ryzen 9, and then for the 5950, which is like the fastest one compared to the 3950, it's $50 more too.
So this means that the pricing has dropped on the older and on these processors, isn't that right?
Pricing is always about, supply and demand. So if you look out there, they might drop, but sometimes when another process is about to launch, um, it's unpredictable. Sometimes they can go up in price, or go down in price, based on, like, let's say it's like a paper launch, then maybe the CPUs will actually go up instead of going down, and so it's very variable. So it's like I think it's pretty hard to get a real good discount on a lot of these CPUs. I just basically say all the time, just if you can afford it, buy the performance that you can at that time, and don't get OCD about when the best time to buy, because it can fluctuate a ton.
Yeah,
And
because you were
you're always going to be waiting for that great deal that never comes.
yeah, because the Ryzen 9 right here, the 5900, it's a 549, and you have the Ryzen 9 5950 is at 799. That's crazy price for that
Yeah.
series. Because don't
Yeah,
isn't there like a Ryzen 5 for about almost the same price?
what do you mean by that?
Isn't there one like a Ryzen 5 for about almost like 400 something dollars or something like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, the pricing was, $50 less for the previous generation. You're The thing is, though, you're gonna be like, the last generation was good in multi-threaded performance. So there's a lot of applications that use multi-threaded, but in gaming, it's always gonna be single thread that's king. And this time around, you can make an argument that AMD is the best. And so it's worth paying that extra, like, if basically, what I was gonna say too is, with AMD being the king compared to Intel was charging a ton more when they were the king, and so
I remember that.
we'll see what happens if AMD extends the lead even more with, like the 6800 series, like in a year or two from now. Is it just inevitable that AMD will become Intel,
Yeah.
and we'll just see the prices get larger and larger.
Yeah. Or they might just stay cheap and just stay under Intel so they could keep the competition going.
Well, right now, I mean, they're not. I mean, they are a little bit, because we said, like, they're a little bit like a better price to performance, like
Yes.
maybe 1 or 2%. So they're still like beating Intel in the proposition for value, But I just don't see, like, Intel has a lot more partners and a lot more, like, advertising
Yeah.
capabilities. They have a lot more money, so they can keep people, like, in a way, in their ecosystem. So I hope it works out for AMD, because
I hope so.
hopefully it works out for the consumer too. But um, I hope it doesn't happen where AMD tries to charge too much, because Nvidia and Intel have more name recognition, and AMD's tried this in the past, where they've tried raising their price up to what their competitor usually raises their price, but they don't sell as much because people don't equate their brand with performance.
Yeah.
So AMD can't, like, overhype their, CPUs. Some people will know about it, like the enthusiasts, but a lot of people are still going to think, even when AMD is ahead, they're still going to think that Intel is ahead.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely. Yep.
In my opinion, it could. Sometimes it could happen where it happens right away, but I think it's going to take like 2 or 3 generations of AMD winning for that mind share to go away.
Yeah.
You still think Intel is the best. It takes time for the news to get around.
Yeah, like into the next topic right now. The AMD, the Ryzen 9, actually annihilates the Intel Core i9. It
Yeah.
completely just annihilates it. Can you explain to us a
Yeah.
little bit how that happens?
Well, just going a little bit back to the generation of the 5900X to the 3900 XT, the previous generation. This time, AMD's like in some games increasing the performance at 1080p by 50%. So, League of Legends, 50% more frames, which is insane from one generation to the next. The lowest improvement is like Battlefield 5, which only sees a 5% improvement. CSGO 46, Dota 2 24, PUBG 33, and Shadows of the Tomb Raider 28%. So it's all over the board. However, also AMD this time around with the 5900X has the highest single threaded Cinebench score of 631, with a whopping 70 megabytes of total cache and a TDP of 105. So pretty impressive stats. And then if we compare the 5900X to the 900K from Intel, we see that again, AMD is winning 21% more performance in League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
It does lose 3% against Battlefield 5, which is a very um, interesting game compared, like, to see that AMD didn't really make much gain there. But in other games like CS:GO, they're beating Intel by 19%. They're beating Intel in Dota 2 by 6%, at PUBG 5%. So they are showing that they are, if you look at all those games across, it averages out that AMD says they're 3% faster than Intel. So they take the performance once they actually launch the CPU out there and you can buy it. They will be the king. And then I think Intel is going to launch their next desktop next year. I don't think we're going to see anything this year, probably. So AMD probably can be king for a while, and then we don't know if Intel is going to, what's going to happen,
Yeah, definitely.
And so they're beating Intel with 13% for single threaded performance, and this is not just single threaded performance; it's single threaded performance per dollar value. So they're showing you that AMD still is the better value, 13%, right?
Yeah.
And then for multi, it's 23%. And then for 1080p gaming, you're still having savings because you're 3% more performance per dollar.
Yeah.
So even when AMD takes the crown, they're still like cheaper in a sense.
Well, that's good. It kind of helps out. It helps out people's pockets there. They want something cheap and pretty performance.
Yeah, and I think they probably go for like I hope that AMD is offering a lower 6-core part, because $300 I believe is more than I spent for my 6-core from Intel. I probably spent like 200, I think.
And
And I think they're, I don't know, I think 6-core should be around 200, like 300 starts to be, I don't know. I have spent 315 for a graphics card. So I guess there still is some room for that, but I just don't, I'm not accustomed to paying $300 for a CPU.
yeah, and the crazy thing is $300 for a little tiny thing that's just like so small. $300. That's crazy, bro.
Well, I think it's like the reason why I don't like paying that much for a CPU is because you have to buy the RAM, the motherboard, and the motherboard, is tied into the same company that you buy the CPU from usually. You know what I mean? That's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
It's an AMD motherboard, it's an Intel motherboard. So it's kind of like the price of the CPU, not really, because like there's other features that you pay for less or
Yep.
more, but it's like the motherboard plus the CPU that shows you what you're actually paying for that CPU.
Correct.
And I paid like probably 170 for the motherboard for the 10400 for the 10th generation.
Yeah.
So I don't want to pay more than 180 for a motherboard, and I really don't want to pay more than like 200 for a CPU. So I'm hoping consumers kind of like tell AMD that the 6 core, if there should be another variant for the 6 core that's a little cheaper.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll see.
Okay. Anything else you want to say on this topic, Joe, before we move on to the next?
No, the only thing is we're staying tuned. We're waiting for RDNA 2, and also we're trying to see whether there's going to be a big Vega. Oh wait, not Vega. Sorry, Navi coming up. So stay tuned to seeing whether the GPU section is going to set things on fire.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Definitely. So
competition at the high.
So moving on to the next topic, Android ransomware has picked up some ominous new tricks. Joe, can you explain to us like what kind of tricks have they learned out there in the real world?
Well, one of the tricks was that they are able to make the file, like the screen on your phone, to be bigger, like to adapt to how big your phone is. Like they can tell what your
Like
resolution is and how many inches your screen is.
pretty much
So it
auto
like
adjusting.
yeah, auto adjusting. It tries to fill up the whole screen so you can't like click away from it. And even when you turn your phone off and turn it on again, it's still covering the screen. So that's pretty bad. Do you remember the other ways?
Oh man, Microsoft and them have ran through using Defender, compromising it, and it's to believe they can. Sorry, guys, I'm kind of reading the alert here through the system
Oh,
alert window.
the other way was that they hide some of the files that
Oh
were
yes,
normally they normally would tell you that it's kind of like suspicious that it's malware. They hide it, and I think it probably doesn't activate until maybe it doesn't activate until they can sense something, and then they like turn the hack on, or maybe it like has like a timer where it doesn't turn that file on until after like a few hours or something. So
correct.
when initially is like being scanned and downloaded and maybe looking for like suspicious things, it doesn't appear because it's not trying to read you immediately.
Correct. And the thing is, they also abuse the accessibility features or use mapping techniques to draw and redraw overlay windows.
Yeah.
That was very unique. I was like intrigued with that one, how they're using the accessibility features.
Yeah. The good news though is that if you stick to the Apple iOS store and the Google Play, um, you're less likely to have ransomware problems.
See, that's the thing is I always tell people all the time: do not download third party apps unless you bought like brand new lights like Joe did, or you bought something that requires you to download a third party app and you know those are legit, but not something that, oh yeah, I want to play this game, but the game's only available through this app that I have download through the third party, which that might not be a full game, or it could be a full game but with some malicious ransomware in the back end you might not even know. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah. So you better make sure that company is legit. And the troubling thing is the other way that they get you is they make it look like that's another legit company.
Correct.
They're posing as some company that with a new game or something, or a game that they didn't people already know about, and for some reason they're like, oh, you can get it cheaper here or something.
Correct.
and and then so yeah, so they're pretty good. Like some like you get some really bad spam emails, and they're like telling you that they have their emails looking very professional, looking like it's the actual company, and
Yep.
they want you to go to the website.
Yep, definitely. Like here, like another one, they call it name mangling or mongling. I don't know how you say it exactly. It's like Joe was saying, to mislabel and conceal the malware's components, whatever's internal, all the infrastructure behind the programming of the game or application that you're using.
Yeah, so they put it in a file that looks benign, and then they activate it later.
Yep, that's what Joe was saying earlier. I found the name. I was looking for the name. I was like, man, what's the name Joe was saying? I was like, I
Yeah,
know it's here.
I think I said name mangling, but I might have mumbled it.
I didn't hear.
Yeah,
Uh,
maybe I didn't say it. But yeah, so it's scary, you know, people trying to get your credit card information or your social or whatever else about you, you know.
yeah, that's the scary
And
part, man.
the scary thing is that they keep doing this because they've actually gotten money from it, you know. It
Hmm.
actually works. So you got to be careful and then yeah, I think for the most part you'll be okay, but stick to the Apple and the Google store if you're not really
Yep.
if you don't want to put in the work to protect yourself from the other apps.
Correct, definitely. Just stay away from third-party apps. If it asks you to do it, I wouldn't do it unless you know the name of the company and the exact website that the company is telling you to go to. Download it from there only. Unless, if not, download. Make sure it's in the Play Store only. Please,
And you know,
guys.
another way is you can always uh like put that game or that news that channel in, you know, whatever it is, the app they're trying to do, and see if it's covered in like Google News, you know, like go to news
Correct.
and see if it's actually being talked about by like articles. If it's not, then it might never have existed.
Correct. Correct. Definitely. I think that's it for this topic, Joe. We do have the next topic, which is an update to the previous updates that we've been given, and now this is an actual bigger news that's coming out. Is Epic Games denied a preliminary injunction for Fortnite? Can you let us know a little bit more about what's going on there, Joe?
Yeah, this is actually a really interesting update because it's not changing anything that we haven't already known. Like Fortnite, Epic Games is still not going to be able to get their game on the Apple Store, but Apple can't remove Epic Games
Yeah, Unreal.
their Unreal Engine and their developer account. They can't remove it. So we're kind of at the stalemate where the shocking news is that they're not going to be back into court until next year.
That is crazy. Like that's a long wait.
Yeah, and do you know when did they say how long was it?
It wasn't it till May or March?
May of 2021.
Yes, May of 2021. And the bad part is that the clients will not be able to use their game, play the game.
Yeah, so you know, I mean, there could be updates like where if basically the only update that's going to happen is if Epic Games, gives in and comes back under Apple's rules, and then you can play again. So we'll see if Epic Games bank account, um, you know, goes down enough that they give in to Apple.
Yeah, I kind of doubt that will happen. Because Epic Games is still making money through their website, through the App Store, through the not the App Store, but through the PC version. So they're
Yeah,
still making money on that platform. Mobile was that I don't think it was that it was big enough, but I don't know how big it was. I've never seen it. I know it's nowhere near as big as PC version.
yeah. I think that kind of goes with like um, richer countries, usually are playing on PC compared to apps,
Correct.
and but also people who are using the app on the phone, right? If you're playing on your phone, you're probably have less money to in general to spend on the game,
Mm-hmm.
maybe
Yep.
because you spend a considerable amount of money into your PC parts, and yeah, so I'm not sure because there's a lot more. There might be more gamers on the phone
Correct. Could be.
because it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. There might be like yeah. So it's up to Epic Games now. It's basically in their court as to what they're going to do, and then the courts will continue next year. So that's a long time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm waiting to know. We'll keep you guys informed what happens when we get more news. I don't want to rub this topic too much every weekend like we did previously. Sorry, guys. But we'll actually keep you guys informed, little bits pieces as we go.
Yeah, we'll
Uh,
we'll, we'll keep monitoring to make sure something doesn't change between now and May. But we'll definitely be covering it again when the court case starts up again.
Correct. Now, going on to the next topic, which Google just rolls out the screen sharing on their platform called Google Duo. I don't know if you ever use Google Duo. Google Duo is a actual video conferencing app for your phone. Majority of phones have it by default. Comes preloaded, or when the latest update you have on your phone. So go ahead, Joe. Tell us a little bit more about the screen sharing and how do you think about it? What do you think is going to happen with this app?
Well, I checked my phone after we talked about it, and I saw that the Duo video was already on my phone. I probably never used it ever. Um, it's pretty cool. Although unfortunately, it looked like for me there weren't as many options. I don't think there was screen share.
No,
That was
you
the
didn't
one
have
op
it.
I didn't have that, but I did have video call, which is cool because I didn't before. I've been using Discord,
Hmm.
but I'm hoping that with my phone I can use my phone network will have a faster connection so I can do better FaceTime.
Correct.
So
That's what me and my little boy use. We use Google Duo. He don't have a phone service, but he's on the Wi-Fi, connected to the Wi-Fi, and he calls me directly using Google Duo. And it's
oh it
been pretty much a good thing for us too. And it doesn't send text messages; it sends more like video messages.
interesting. So I was wondering, um, we're streaming off of Meet, Google Meet.
Correct.
I'm wondering I'm wondering if there's an app for Google Meet.
I'm not sure. Never even checked.
Because, the I mean, if there is, the Google Duo would be competing with their own product, you know?
Yep,
Uh,
definitely.
we've noticed that the Google Meet has very good, resolution compared to the competitors, and I noticed when I did the Google Duo, the resolution wasn't that great. I'm not sure if it was because I was going through my phone network or through my internet connection, but I'll look into that. But that'd be pretty cool if, Google Meet is also an app.
I'm gonna give you a heads up. It is an app.
It is an app?
Yes, I'm checking it right now. I'm doing an update on my phone right now.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Now we're gonna have to compare Google Meet to Google Duo. But it's pretty cool because when I've been using like Discord video, it's pretty blurry, or like you can't do it at all. It just does audio.
Correct.
So stay tuned, guys. If Renee or I or somebody, we do like a review between whether Google Duo, Google Meet, or like something like Discord is better for video FaceTime, because
Correct.
whichever one has like the best resolution with the lowest connection, that's amazing.
Definitely, definitely.
And
This
it
is
says that this is now running for devices running Android 9 or better, or higher, I mean. But I'm pretty sure my Android is like 7 or 8.
yeah, because we
So maybe
checked.
that's what it is. Yeah.
We also checked, and you didn't have the nearby share last time. I don't know if you remember that. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Version 9, you have to have it in order to have the nearby share, and we really didn't have it. Hey, look who joined us. We're about already almost pretty much ending. Just wrapping up things here. It's Mike Fox. He just jumped onto the chat.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's probably the case, that I can use Google Duo, but I have less features.
That sucks, Joe. It's I don't know. I don't know what kind of phone do you have?
I'm looking at it right now. With the system update, it's updated to Android 8.0,
Oh,
to date as of May 2020, and I'll show it right here. It's a what is it? It's a Moto E5.
yeah. Those phones usually go up to just version 8.
Yeah, so this one cost about $160, which is way more than I want to pay for a phone.
Bro.
I normally pay like I was paying like $60 from the Walmart phones,
Damn.
but they don't have those anymore.
Man, this is like a life. This right here, this is an S10. This is like a life sentence right here. Because you keep paying on them for like 2 years, and then by the end of 2 years, they're already messing up, or maybe even before the 2 years, they're already messing up on you, and you're like, I need a new phone. And then you have to go back into a life sentence again to another 2-year contract with a new phone.
Yeah, I'm definitely the person who lets everybody else pay the higher price, and I'll just get the upgrades as it like years later. Because we recently bought a new car, and I didn't know this, but like the lower tier cars, like this was like 17,000. Now it has the screen where when you back up, you can see
Correct.
behind you. And like 6 years ago, when we bought a brand new car, like for the same price, that wasn't there. So it takes like 6 years or more, and then the awesome technology will eventually come down to the poor people.
Correct.
And
It always is.
poor people saying, a brand new car for 17,000. That's a lot of people don't buy brand new cars. They either do old or they lease or something. So that's still like saying it's still expensive, but it's cool to see like that technology trickle down.
Correct. If we're getting all the poor people, not really saying poor people completely, it's just from the high class to like lower class, you're getting pretty much a lot of the hand-me-down stuff, and technology has been downgraded, and or you could say is that equipment has been paid off in the long run. And so now we could actually say, you know what, we could get this hardware and downgrade it to the lower end, and without actually costing us a fortune to do it, because the hardware's already paid off.
Yeah, and the hardware is getting smaller too.
Correct.
Like this stuff used to probably be in like the 50,000 vehicles, which I would, I can't see unless you were buying a family vehicle, I would not buy anything that's like more than 30,000.
Correct. It's like right now at the moment, Tesla's like over 40K, and 100K for additional features. And the color too, bro. I didn't know the color makes a big difference too. Red is the most expensive color out there for Tesla. And
I personally like red's an okay color, but I personally like a light blue.
Yeah, they probably have that eventually, or auto changing colors. You could select your car, tell the car, hey, I want light blue. Automatically the car changes to light blue when you buy it.
So like you think like lighting.
Yeah.
Like you have like lights through, like it's all like clear, but it has lights that it projects outward.
Correct, that color. There you go. There you go. Elon Musk, you got an idea right there. Auto changing colors. You already did self driving. Now do auto color.
Yeah, just like the outside layer has like, I don't know, like some thick plastic or something, and it just comes through that.
Yeah, no more paint jobs, guys. No more paint jobs. You got just color.
I can't see that being that expensive to do something like that.
Nah, I don't think so. There you go, Tesla. There you go, Elon Musk.
Nobody's done it, so it's RGB for the people do it for like under the car, right?
Yeah.
That's I always thought as a teenager, I always thought that was really cool. People who put lights coming down like blue or green.
Yep.
But yeah, oh my gosh. RGB for a car I hate it for a computer because it always like I want my build to like be silent and dark, I don't want it to like give me light when I don't want to see light. But
yeah, I know.
Being able to change your car color, that'd be so awesome.
Yeah, or the first time you go to a dealership, all cars are the same color, and all you just say, I want an orange. And then you just select orange the day of purchase, and that could be a final color there, or you can do a multicolor as time goes by. If you maybe you could say this every 6 months, after you pay it every 6 months, you get your option to change colors. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just a stupid thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if it was like a premium to like have like a multicolor RGB.
Mm-hmm.
we're in like the realm of like sci-fi, but not really. It's like, oh, you just wonder why they haven't done it,
Yeah, guys, right now we're just talking nonsense. We're just throwing things out there just for fun. This is our little area towards the ending of the conversation. We just like to bring you all on board and kind of have a little fun here on talking about whatever we want, guys.
Yeah, this is the last topic of the day. You know, because Elon Musk, he revolutionized the trucking industry by having the exoskeleton, like it all one frame.
Really?
Instead, yeah, before it was split. It was like two or three like frames, like chassis.
Really? Let me take a look at that.
Truck is like one piece of like engineering. So that's why it can like take more dents. It can take that baseball bat, and the glass is stronger. And yeah, so you just it's some of those things you're just wondering why didn't they have it all? Maybe they didn't have the ability to, but somebody thinks outside the box.
You're talking about the truck?
Oh, the Cybertruck. The Elon Musk Cybertruck versus a regular pickup truck. They that's what Elon was talking about, that he made it like one piece. It's all one piece. It's all connected
Yeah,
instead of
I didn't
putting pieces.
know. I didn't know back of the pickup was separate. I thought it was together.
Uh, there's some I can't. I'm not heavily into cars or trucks, but there's something like there's like probably like two pieces that are put together, like the chassis, which I don't even know what that is. I'm just saying it right, and then there's the engine and the everything else, the bed and everything. And so somehow somebody who knows more about trucks than me knows that there's multiple parts, and so Elon like made it all one.
Interesting. See, I
Also,
didn't even know that.
engine around. I think he has the engine like in the front or back or the side. Like he has it in multiple spots because they're electric engines.
Uh huh.
And so like he actually had like you actually have a trunk in the front of the Cybertruck.
So okay. So you
Wait,
get
wait, sorry. I am confusing two different models. I apologize. I saw this other one that he had, which was like an SUV, and that one had a trunk in the front.
okay.
But I am not confusing that the Cybertruck is one component.
Okay. So what can you how can you carry materials in back of the back of the Cybertruck?
Yeah, it has a electric retractable back. It kind of like slants like this. It goes up,
Uh huh.
and then they showed that you can put an ATV in the back, and I think you
Really?
could put the ATV with the roof down, maybe, but maybe not. Maybe it's just with the roof off. But it's pretty cool because then like there's a ramp that comes out
Holy cow!
right off the truck.
You're right, bro.
Yeah.
What about
So
can you attach hitches and RVs and stuff like that to these suckers or not yet?
no, I believe you would, because the whole idea was that they're saying the towing power of this compared to a regular truck,
Mm-hmm.
like a Ford F-150, is equivalent. They were actually saying that their Cybertruck is actually more powerful, but someone who knows more about trucks know whether that's an accurate claim or not.
Bro, I'm learning
But
something new right now.
these trucks have a lot of towing power, and the top model, which is still expensive compared to like the cars that I'm talking about, right? 17 17,000. The top one had like is like I think 80,000 or 89,000 or something.
Hmm.
It had like a driving a radius of like 500 miles before you have to recharge the battery because it's
Yeah.
electric. And the lower models had like I think 200 and then maybe like 350 or something.
I want to know how much those cells gonna cost.
Yeah, because I'd hope the higher one will eventually come down in price, because if I was to get a Cybertruck, it'd be the 500-mile range, because who wants to think they can't go that far, you know? Because
Yeah.
when you fill up at the gas tank, it's a lot faster. It takes like what 2 minutes to fill up your gas. I don't know. I've never had an electric car. I don't know how long it takes to recharge the battery.
I don't know. I've never even thought about that. I know what they usually
You gotta
say is,
charge it overnight or something.
I just know that some people say that they just plug the charger in, then they go eat lunch, and then they take off again, and they're good. That's all I
Like
know.
a super.
Yeah, there's two types of chargers for the Teslas. There's a regular charger and there's a supercharger.
Yeah. And the supercharger, correct me if I'm wrong, but it usually like makes the battery last less.
I don't know. I
It
never
faster.
I was never told anything about that when I went to go test the Tesla. I know that the tablet in the front, call it the tablet, it shows you all the charging stations with the superchargers as well. I think they said it's about 30-minute. It's like a 30-minute charge, and the other ones are like a half hour and a half or something.
Okay. That's my my belief, because I think I was stranded once, and we had AAA come and jumpstart our car, and they have like more powerful jump starters,
Mm-hmm.
but it 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 reduces the life of the battery. It's basically like it's starting you, right, but it's basically at a point where you need to like drive that to a repair shop to get a new battery.
Hmm.
But if you were to charge it from one car to another, it would take like a half an hour of letting your vehicle run to charge the other car.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And if you can't charge it in that half an hour, then it really is like dead. And you need to basically like get the AAA to supercharge your car or get towed. But
It's
yeah, I mean, I just
likely
assume that if I could, I would want my car to be charged over a longer period of time, like overnight, so that I don't want to replace like a $12,000 battery.
yeah. Yeah, on a Tesla, you don't replace the whole battery. You replace, I think they told me it's a cell.
Yeah. So I don't know how much that costs, but
I think
I thought
it was per dollar.
I think it's like 10,000 or something.
No, that's you replace all the cells, but the cells die individually.
Oh, so you replace individual ones?
Correct.
Huh. Because I've never seen it advertised that way, but that's kind of cool if that's the way it is.
Yeah, because that's when I asked that. Correct me if I'm wrong, audience. As I was told by Tesla that each cell you could replace, and this is by $1. They do add up to 14, like $10 or $14,000 for the whole battery. You get the batteries under the car, and then you could replace each cell individually.
So if you were just noticing that you can go less and less, then you could get it. So
Correct.
over the course of the, if you kept doing that, like you still like paying for labor and stuff. So I'm wondering, I guess at some point you're like, okay, I have like half the range I used to have or something, or I can't get at certain speed, so now I need to get it repaired before the battery completely dies.
Correct.
I wonder though if the battery just like I mean, you'd think that most of them would die at once.
You'll probably get a bunch at a time, but I don't know what the number is on that. They didn't explain that to me. They just told me it was like dollars per the thing, because you have over 1,000 cells.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much dollars it is per cell. I just know it was dollars per cell. That's why I'm saying dollars, because it could be like $5 a cell, $10 a cell, and it's supposed to add up to almost over 10,000, like I don't know, like $10,000 or something like that. It's expensive.
Yeah.
I'm still looking into getting a Tesla. Just don't know too much about it. I'm trying to learn.
So like a car.
Yeah, either that or the Cybertruck.
Oh yeah. It's
Oh
just
man.
cool. It's like I was never gonna get a truck that wasn't an electric one because they're, gas guzzlers. But now I'm seeing like they're saying they're advertising these trucks like 30 miles per gallon, and I'm
Yeah,
thinking that's pretty impressive.
yeah. My truck that I bought, that one I had before, it was pretty good on gas. It was
Yeah,
pretty
they're
good on
getting that.
gas.
Electric is really getting there, but like the other ones are forced to innovate.
Correct. Definitely.
Because I hate to have a truck that only got like 10 or 15 or something.
Man, I don't want one of those trucks, man. That's 10 or 15, 10 or 20, 10 or 18 miles per the gallon, bro. That's a guzzler.
It's
Get diesel. If you're gonna get a truck, just get diesel, man. I hear that you get more miles out of that.
Yeah, they're better for highway.
Yep, definitely. Well, guys, this is gonna definitely wrap up the whole podcast, guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment still, and you got the description, you got everything you want to know. Make sure you do participate in Joe's giveaway that he's been doing every month. I think I have to update the link. I haven't updated the link today, so we could actually make sure y'all participate into that giveaway. It's how much money is it this month, Joe?
I believe it's 35 this month.
So if you want to win $35, guys, make sure you go down to the description in a few minutes. Joe, send me the link, and so we could actually make sure you have that updated. And hope y'all. I'm gonna wish you guys the best of luck in winning that contest.
Yeah. Oh, it's $30.
$30, guys. $30. Correction. I'm saying it.
And it's got about there's like 19 days, so there's plenty of time for you to enter.
So correction.
Will
30.
Be, 30.
Okay. Anything else you want to throw in, Joe?
No. Just we're gonna be looking for some more product launches in the coming weeks, and have a great week.
Peace out, guys. Peace.